What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this. Beautiful, delicious, flaky, buttery, meaty, honestly quite gross looking, yet amazing scratch-made biscuits and gravy. That's right, folks, we're taking some homemade breakfast sausage, turning it into a white gravy, and smothering some homemade flaky biscuits. Give it up. This is some meat. Ooh. Pat it dry. And what I've got here is some chunks of some pork butt as well as a pork belly, which should give us a nice fatty pork sausage, which is great because I'm out of breakfast sausage and I like to make a lot of breakfast sausage, keep it on hand in the freezer for breakfast and whatnot. And going into the new year, I was due to make another big batch. And breakfast sausage is one of those sausages that I like to lean a little bit fattier rather than leaner on. But the other reason why I'm making some breakfast sausage is because today we're taking a look at biscuits and gravy. And hailing from the Northeast, I did not grow up with biscuits and gravy. And the first time I saw it, I was like, that looks like a bunch of cement over some really dry biscuits and a pretty heavy way to start the day. But heavy as it may be, it's also quite delicious and perfect for these cold winter mornings if you need a hearty breakfast to get your day going. And when you make it with some really good breakfast sausage and some homemade flaky biscuits, it's quite a treat. But I wouldn't eat it every day. But like all sausages, first thing we need to do is get all of our meat cubed up and weighed out for the proper meat to fat ratio, although today I'm just kind of winging it with the fat ratio. But I am going to make a 5-pound batch. And just like that, all cubed up, looking like a nice 70-30, maybe 75-25 meat to fat ratio. But now I'm going to park this in the freezer for about 30 minutes to get nice and cold. And now that our meat is nice and cold, through the meat grinder we go. Going through the fine die for this cook. And we're going to go ahead and send it through one time. Beautiful grind on that. Looking nice and clean, nice and fatty, not too overworked. And as for our seasonings, you may have guessed, I'm going with the Chuds BBQ breakfast sausage mix. Love this stuff, rated for exactly 5 pounds of meat, which is what we've got. But if you want to make your own, you can check out any of my other breakfast sausage recipes over the years on the channel. And simply enough, in we go. And we'll start getting that all mixed in. Ooh, that is cold. And I believe we are currently sold out of the breakfast sausage mix. Big hit over the holidays, but it should be coming back pretty soon. But also, let me know in the comment section down below what kind of sausage mixes you think I should make next. I'm thinking Italian, maybe a brat. Plenty of options out there, folks, and it just makes life so much easier than having to bust out the scale and measure everything else out. Also gonna go in with a little bit of water, just to create a little bit stickier, tackier farce. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. It'll just make everything mixed together a little bit easier and turn it into more of a sausage than a ground beef, or in this case, ground pork mixture. And the nice part about making a loose sausage like this, as opposed to something that I'm going to be putting into a casing, is we don't really need to mix it nearly as much, which is great. So really, I'm just trying to make sure all the spices are evenly dispersed. And that is looking pretty much perfect to me. So now I'm going to pop this in the fridge for a little bit to let those spices hydrate, let the meat firm up a little bit, and let the salt start penetrating the meat a little bit. This video is brought to you by AG1. AG1 Next Gen is a daily health drink clinically shown to support gut health and fill in common nutrition gaps with over 75 ingredients, including 5 probiotic strains and whole food sourced ingredients. Basically, AG1 replaces any need for a multivitamin or probiotics or that sort of thing, and it tastes really good. Simply start your day with 1 scoop of AG1 and 8 to 12 ounces of water and get your daily foundational nutrition to stay ahead of whatever life throws at you. And I know I'm not always cooking the most healthy foods on this channel, which is why I love starting my day with AG1, and I've actually been drinking it for a little over a year at this point, because I figure it's the very least I can do for my body. And going into a new year, it's a great time to start forming some healthier habits and try and reach those New Year's resolutions. Also, AG1 supports immune health as well, which is great after all the holiday travel and during these colder months. And again, doing what I do for a living on this channel, getting support with digestion, energy levels, gut health, immune function, and help alleviate bloating. Drinking AG1 every morning is just a great idea. Just 1 scoop of AG1 in the morning. I like the OG flavor quite a bit, but they also have plenty of other flavors. The citrus one is also fantastic, and they make travel sizes too, which is great when I'm on the road. So if you're looking to try AG1 for yourself, click my link in the description box of this video or scan the QR code on screen now, and you'll get a free AG1 duffel bag and a free welcome kit with your first subscription order. Again, click my link down below, scan the QR code on screen now to try AG1 for yourself, and with my link you'll get a free duffel bag and a free welcome kit from AG1. Highly recommend it. Thank you, AG1. Next up, let's go ahead and knock out some biscuits. Start them going into a bowl with some all-purpose flour, some granulated sugar, some baking powder, baking soda, and some kosher salt. And get that all mixed together. And back when I was working at Friedman's, we would make biscuits every Sunday as part of our Sunday brunch, which was fantastic. We should probably recreate that at some point here. But there I learned that frozen butter is one of the key techniques for getting a really tall, fluffy biscuit. So what we would do is take some butter, throw it in the freezer, and then pop it on a box grater. But frozen greasy butter plus box grater is a great recipe for losing a knuckle or a fingertip. So I'm gonna bust out some power tools. Got the old grater plate in here. So now I'm gonna go through with 2 sticks of frozen butter. And now into the flour mixture we go. It may be another dirty dish to clean, but that was incredibly quick and efficient. But again, box grater works fine. And now we're gonna get in there and start mixing everything together until all the butter is coated with the flour and it starts looking a little bit sandy. Ooh. And the reason why we want to use frozen butter is because if we use regular butter, it would start melting, releasing all the water from the butter, and that would create more gluten. And we really don't want to develop too much gluten in a biscuit, otherwise it'll get chewy and kind of tight. So we want to make sure this stays as cold as possible the entire time. But once it's come together like that, we can go in with our buttermilk, because we are making buttermilk biscuits today. Again, this is nice and cold as well. And just kind of stir it to get everything incorporated without over mixing anything. Just be gentle with it. And the other reason why we want to use frozen butter is because when we pop these into a super hot oven, the water in the butter will turn into steam, giving these extra lift and height. But once that's come together a little bit, looking like a shaggy dough, I'm gonna flour this work surface a little bit and pour out this shaggy mess. Ooh, pretty clean bowl, happy about that. And now we're gonna start shaping this into a rectangle. Looks like a disaster right now, but with a few laminations, it should start to come together without developing too much gluten and building a bunch of nice layers. So the idea here is to take this and fold it over itself, which is going to start out real crumbly, but as that buttermilk hydrates the flour, it should start forming into a nice dough. Fold it all up. Bench scraper comes in very handy. Get everything tucked in there. Then we'll rotate it this way and roll it out one more time. And repeat the process. And how many times you laminate this is really up to you. I've seen some people do it just one time for a really rustic biscuit. I've seen other people do it 10 to 20 times for a really layered, flaky biscuit. For me, I'm probably gonna do it maybe 5, 6 times, or really until it starts coming together. I swear it's gonna come together at some point, right? And at this stage, we're starting to get pretty tight, meaning it's not really rolling out as well, which means that gluten is starting to develop and everything is pretty much fully hydrated. So we'll fold this up one last final time. And now I'm gonna park this back in the fridge for probably 20 minutes or so, just to relax a little bit and make sure that butter stays cold. And after about 15, 20 minutes in the fridge, this is looking a lot more relaxed, so we can set it down back on the table, feeling a little bit more hydrated as well. And we can start rolling this out one more time, trying to make a square about the size of this rolling pin. Looking something like this. Then I'm gonna go through and clean up these edges a little bit, save those for a little snack. And then with a bench scraper or a sharp knife, we're gonna go ahead and divide this into thirds. 1 cut, 2, and we're left with 9 little biscuits. And I'll let y'all debate in the comment section about round versus square biscuits, but from a practical standpoint, square is a lot easier and a lot more efficient. You don't have any waste, so you have to re-roll out, toughening the dough, getting some lesser than perfect biscuits. But for now, onto a sheet tray these go. And I'm gonna park these in the freezer for a little bit. And again, that's because we want this butter to be super cold, so we get steam that's gonna make these even fluffier and rise a little bit higher. So again, I'm gonna park these in the freezer for just a little bit while I preheat my oven to 400 degrees. The oven is preheated. These were in the freezer for, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes or so. So before they go into the ripping hot oven, we're gonna paint these down with some melted butter for extra flavor and extra browning. And now we're gonna bake these off at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. And just like that, fresh out of the oven, these are looking absolutely beautiful. I also threw a little flaky salt on top right before they went in for a little extra salty pop and some texture. And these are looking absolutely beautiful, nice and golden, very flaky. I mean, just look at the layers on those. Ah! And these are looking pretty golden brown, a little on the blonde side. But you really want to go by temperature on these, pull them off around 200 degrees internal instead of going by color, because you don't want to dry them out. And if you did want these a little darker or a little more golden or a little shinier, you could brush on some egg yolk instead of butter before baking, but I'm very happy with these, and they're going to get covered in gravy anyway. Speaking of which, I'm gonna pop these on a wire rack to cool down because we need to knock out a quick sausage gravy. start, I'm going into a pan with a knob of butter, get that melting down. And once that's melted down nicely, in we go with 1.5 pounds of our homemade breakfast sausage. Gonna smush that down a little bit, get a good crust going. And after letting that cook down for a couple minutes, crumbling it up as fine or as chunky as you see fit, I'm gonna go in with 1 diced shallot and let that cook in some of that sausage fat and butter for a little bit. And once everything is browned up to your liking, I'm gonna go in with some freshly chopped sage, let that kind of fry in the fat for a minute or two. And then we'll go in with some all-purpose flour, right into the middle where all the fat is. And we'll start cooking that down with all the fat to make a roux, which will help thicken up the gravy. It's crazy how that flour added so much more volume to this, but it's been cooking down for a minute or two, so now we can go in with our cold milk. Just a little bit at first, kind of deglaze the bottom of the pan a little bit, and then in with a little bit more. And I'm just gonna kind of go by eye on this until we have a nice, thick-looking gravy. That might be too much meat. Is there such a thing? Come on. That was about 2.5 cups, looking very nice. And we're gonna bring that up to a simmer, let that flour thicken everything up a little bit, and then we can reduce it down if we want it thicker, or add more milk if we want it a little bit thinner. And at this stage, we'll go in with a nice big fat pinch of salt, unless you use salted milk. Ew. As well as a good amount of freshly cracked black pepper. I like a peppery white gravy. And because it just seems right, we'll go in with some freshly grated nutmeg as well. And taste and adjust, both for seasoning and thickness. We should have a nice gravy. And after adding some more milk and letting this simmer down for a little bit, our lovely, well, quite gross looking gravy is looking great, tasting great, smelling great. Let's put it on some biscuits. But another close-up look at these beautiful biscuits. Look at all the flaky layers. Oh my goodness, these look incredible. But unfortunately, eating biscuits and gravy directly off a cutting board is not the best move. So let's go ahead and crack this in half, shall we? Ooh, so buttery, so flaky. And then a nice sloppy layer of our sausage gravy right on top. This is definitely a meat lover's gravy, and I'm okay with it. Take our little presentation side biscuit, stick that like that. Oh, can't tell if it looks great or looks disgusting, but that's biscuits and gravy in a nutshell. Maybe some freshly chopped chives will help make this look a little bit more appetizing. Maybe? Yeah? And there it is in all its glory, folks. Some beautiful scratch-made flaky buttermilk biscuits topped with a lovely breakfast sausage gravy. Let's dive in. Look at me using a plate and a fork and knife. What is this? Looks pretty good though. Bottoms up. Ooh. That tastes so much better than it looks. And I know the gravy looks kind of gray and weird, but look at that biscuit. That is just a thing of beauty. Definitely making these again. In fact, let's just go for a bite of this real quick. So flaky, so buttery, so fluffy. And not dry. Gotta love that. That's a phenomenal biscuit. And honestly, it pairs perfectly with this gravy. It's so meaty. I love it. I can't think of a good way to say this, but it's like eating sausage with a spoon. Because it's so meaty. You got a lot of that crusty Maillard in there, all those wonderful breakfast sausage flavors. The extra sage is very nice. And it's just like a heart-warming meal, or a heart-clogging meal. We'll say both. I'm doing it. Triple ding, huh? That is so good. It's just the textures of that super light and fluffy biscuit with that meaty, heavy, perfectly seasoned gravy. Just works. And I know it's a breakfast thing, but it's clearly dinner time right now, and I'd rather end my day with this than start with it, I think. Buttery, flaky, creamy, meaty. A little bit of kick on that breakfast sausage, too. What's not to like, folks? That is so good. New year, new me. Diet starts tomorrow, folks. Can't get over how soft and fluffy and delicate and flaky these biscuits are. I recommend that one, folks. But before I go ahead and eat all of these biscuits, I think it's time for the official taste test. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely fantastic scratch-made buttermilk biscuits with a lovely sausage gravy. I highly recommend giving this one a try. You know, if you haven't made biscuits before, it's pretty straightforward, really easy to do, and they come out so much better than anything you're gonna get out of a tube or a can. In that sausage gravy, again, very few ingredients, comes together really quickly, and together it makes for an absolutely fantastic meal. But I leave it up to you whether or not you want to start your day with a meal like this, but let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on biscuits and gravy, but definitely something I'm gonna be making again very soon. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Team Chud members. Thank you for supporting this channel and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.